Hi, I'm Rich Holden, the Executive Director of the newly named Dow Jones News Fund, rather than Newspaper Fund, which we have been for 50 odd years. I want to just take a couple of minutes about what I've seen the biggest problem with students in their resumes, cover letters that they send to us. Far too often, I read the resume, then I read the cover letter, and I'm reading exactly the same thing. And this is a mistake because it really is a package. To me, the resume is going to tell me the who, the what, the when, and the where. The cover letter is going to tell me the why and the how. And I think if you can focus on doing that, the odds of your resume cover letter standing out from hundreds of others are going to be much better. Um, I would argue that you could probably send the same resume to almost any organization to which you're applying, but every cover letter ought to be tailored individually. Why am I qualified for this job, and how do I make my qualifications, my skills adapt to what you're looking for? There is no excuse in this day and age for not knowing a whole lot about the newspaper, the news organization, whatever it is to which you're applying. It's easy to find, and when you're writing this cover letter, does the recipient want to be able to look at it and say, yes, he or she actually did do some research and know what they're talking about? Again, that's going to make your resume, your cover letter stand out from all the rest of them. One other point I would add with the resume is that whoever years ago decided to put references available on request should be shot, should be drawn and quartered, should be doing something else. Don't put that on the resume. All that means is that if I like what you're doing, now I've got to go back to you and say, would you please kindly send me some references? Don't make me go to the trouble of doing that. How many references do you want? To me, I would say 3, certainly for college students. I'd like one reference that could tell me about your academic standards, abilities. Someone who in the news business could tell me about your professional abilities, and a third who could tell me something about you as a person. This could be if you're doing volunteer work, which I think is important to include in the resumes. Just what kind of person are you? How do you work with people? How do you interact? Because again, a news organization, there is a whole lot of interaction going on. It is not an isolated, sit behind a wall sort of job. You're going to be interacting with reporters, editors, other people in the paper. And what kind of a person are you with your social skills, things like that? That's important. So academic, professional, and personal, and I think you've got it covered. If you've got a line at the top of your resume that says objective : I want to be a reporter and save the world, that's a waste of 2 lines of type. The cover letter, I know what you're doing by the job you're applying for. You don't need to tell me on your resume. Another thing, we still get resumes from students that are 2-3 pages long. You're not doing a curriculum vitae for a job as a professor in the academic side. Probably haven't done that much. I've been in the business for 38 years, and I can get everything that I think significant on one page of a resume. If I can do it, you can do it. If you have language skills, be sure and mention that prominently. More and more news organizations are looking for people with these language skills. Don't overdo it. Don't lie. If you're not fluent, don't say you're fluent, because somebody's going to call you who is fluent and interview you in the language. So save yourself the embarrassment. Be realistic in what you're doing. The other point I would emphasize, if you've got computer skills, which I'm sure all of you as students do, you still want to tell me, because I can't assume anything. I may have a resume from one person that lists 7 or 8 different computer programs, multimedia programs with which he or she is familiar. I might get another resume that has nothing on there. The resume with nothing on there, that person might be more qualified than the person who lists the skills, but I don't know it. So don't assume, again, that, well, they're young, so they must have all these computer skills. 2 lines, 3 lines in your resume is well worth it to list those as your skills.